Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back once again to Frostpunk 2. It's been a while, hasn't it? And well, the game has received a major new update last week, and yeah, why not jump into this one again? It actually adds quite a lot, so stick with me shortly through the settings and then we continue with a new city. And we have a whole new map. That's the pit right over here. Rock formations that once impeded the advance of the generator's construction will now make city planning difficult. It's a pretty cool looking map, honestly. We have also a new game mode, and that's the Serenity mode over here. A relaxed mode with an easier start, mild weather, abundant resources, shorter whiteouts, and no faction wars. However, you can make this Serenity mode into a challenging Serenity mode. So if I increase now here the difficulty to, let's say, Steward, a demanding challenge. And we're gonna go ahead with this one here, Serenity mode on Steward difficulty. We'll just see. Also, that's not it. There's even another thing that the update adds, beside a lot of graphical overhauls, is also tails. And yeah, I'm gonna randomize this one here so we get all three of them. And those tales introduce stories based around custom challenges. Failing them ends your playthrough. Besting them reaps special rewards. And they're gonna be a lot of fun, I think, like providing shelter to refugees or surviving a catastrophic whiteout. That's gonna be fun. Let's randomize the whole thing. We're getting all three of them. And yeah, those are the settings with Frostpunk 2, the latest major update. Let's get cracking. Enjoy! Tales from the Frostland. Before we can fulfill our ambition, we need to end these tales. Beacon of Hope, apocalyptic whiteout, and depleted course. And with that, here we are now on this map, in this game. Cold season has already started, and with that we're starting right away with also negative 20 degrees. Well, in the city, nothing is happening right now. It's quiet, and if we zoom out a bit further, we can see now the full map, the new map, the pit that we have. Well, there's the pit, in fact, and down here is also an oil deposit. Now that's pretty interesting that we can harvest for ourselves. We got our communities, the foragers, the laborers, and the merchants. Gonna look forward to them. Haven't played with the merchants yet. Now let's quickly check with the Frostbreaking where we do have resources. And as you can see, there's some coal over there, coal up here, but this is harsh terrain, right? So it costs increased material. This one here is my food area, so probably gonna go ahead and frostbreak my way to this location here right away. Up to 8 points that we have. Here we have some steel available, so materials, and here the coal. And I would also like to, well, frostbreak my way towards that. We take the steel that we have on the way then with us as well right away. And also, that's cool, we have here this location towards the steam hub over there to my scout camp a bit further away. Really interesting map so far, right? Huge mountain in the center of it too. So I guess the city will expand all the way up here onto this mountain, because you can really build all the way up here to the top of that. That looks nice, I think. Also, yeah, 92 homeless right now that need shelter in my city. So we should also start with that right away. Building us the first housing district. We have a nice material stockpile, so that's okay, right? And we're gonna build this so that we can also have the food district adjacent to this then as well at some point. For this, we also will need to have, of course, as many districts as possible close to the generator to also get the full bonus out of that. There you go. 2 districts of this coming out right away. Another thing we should start right away is our central council hall. So this is a special building that we can have, and this one unlocks us then the law process. Temperature drops coming in 2 days or in 2 weeks, and that will make it colder and then warmer again immediately and then colder again. So we can calculate around 30 degrees negative already. Also, what I can see is we have a bit of food stockpile, so we're fine with it for now, right? Don't really need to build the next food district. I'd rather use my resources to get to my scout locations as quickly as possible. There are only 2, Is that right? Yes, there are only 2. So I should also rush towards this one over there. Costs me, of course, some heat stamps, some workforce. Heat stamps, we have 250. That's okay. There's an endless food supply over there. That's also great for us. Let's continue cutting. And also here, let's cut into my coal. There it is. Also, we have finished the council hall in the city center. So now we can start with our first law. Let's propose. And as always, my first one is probably the paid essentials. To foster responsibility and reward work, citizens will be charged a small fee in exchange for essentials such as basic rations and clothing. Increases my efficiency and also heat stamp income. We need to propose this. Not everybody's for it though, so we probably will need to negotiate with one of the other factions. Like for example, the merchants, they're mostly for it. So let's have a look what they want for it. What kind of promise? So with them, it's all about capitalism. If you have money, you can buy power, right? So for example, everyone who has money can actually purchase an exemption from the city to work on heated things, or heat is a luxury and as such surplus heat will be auctioned off to the highest bidder. So for now, let's go with the service exemptions. And with this, we guarantee the success in this vote.
The eyes have it.
Our first housing districts have been finished right over here. And this is important because now we can also implement the research district and unlock us researching.
The delegates have reached a
Next housing district over here, we still have homelessness. So I probably would like to continue with the next one. Gonna build the next housing district right away. We're gonna make sure that we keep a bit of space in between here, where we can have service buildings then around. That's important. Research district has been finished. And with that, I can also open up now, finally, our ideas. There have been some additions now with the latest update. First one on the list is probably my salvaging factory. This gives me 2 things right away. That is a prefab production that we need for more buildings and also a goods production to make my people happier and reduce crime. And it only cost me 50 coins. So I'm going to go ahead and research this as my very first hack. Also, we have arrived finally at my old way station. So this is the moment where we can build now a logistics district. And once this has been finished, we can now finally also for the first time assign us a scout team in the Frostlands, all the way out here. And what I still love up to this point is that this is not a separate map, right? But it's the same map we're playing on, and you can seamlessly transition between your city, right? And also the Frostlands. Lovely stuff. A message, cutthroat economy, paid essentials. So paid essentials find some resistance, but right now I'm not going to change anything here. And let's continue now with my first exploration into the valley. This is easily done. It requires 10 teams, so we have 15, and this one provides me with heat stamp, prefab and oil potentially. So let's have that expedition rolling. So it's at this point that I should start getting my first extraction zone for coal going. So this will be right here. A bit further outside of the city, it generates pollution, so it's great that it's far away from my housing districts. Next law, we should finalize the promise that we made. And service exemptions. Heat stamp income per capita is slightly increased. And yeah, actually the majority of people are for this one. So I think it's safe to just go for voting right away. Should be no problem. There you go.
The eyes have it.
Next in line, I would start with my first industrial district. This one here is now adjacent to my generator and my housing, so that we also get some heating out of this, the heating bonus, right? That's important because we want to reduce coal consumption as much as possible. Building this one here, of course, causes some pollution, but it should be fine. I would also like to continue with another housing district right away. And once again, we're using this area here for maximum adjacency bonus, and then I'm kind of crawling my way over there so that we also can be affected then by whatever we're placing in here. this should be great. There's great new overlays here, by the way, if you hover over it, right? So you immediately see what kind of district it is that you're looking at. A bit later, our extraction zone has been finished now for my coal production. So there's already a bunch of people now working in that, 600 in total out of my workforce pool that we have. And yeah, they're producing now. With that, we have a surplus, and with that, we're filling the stockpile. However, there is a temperature drop already incoming, so it's probably gonna be gone again quite soon. I also want to continue expanding now my housing districts. This allows me to have more special buildings and also provide me more housing in total. Let's just do this over here. And there it is, also my very first industrial district that we have. This one consumes now material and produces then prefabs or goods, depending on what I choose here, what kind of focus I choose myself on. I could also now build me then a factory in that, but I think for this one here, I need to have an expanded district first. So it's safe to expand the industrial zone already, that we can build the factory soon. Sue Miller, age 12. The lack of law regulating childhood is causing tension in the city. Next law is probably, let's check it out. The durable goods demand per capita slightly decreased. This is always useful. Since we are having a good trust level with everyone right now, we also get a nice bonus here to the law. And it looks like this could work out rather quickly. But there's a huge hesitant group here in the center. So I could also just negotiate my way through that. Let's just see what the laborers would like to have. Perhaps they need something anyway that I need as well. Now, the foragers would like me to build a salvaging factory. That is a promise I need to give them. And how very lucky that we already have it researched and would have it on my agenda to build. So yeah, I can promise them this safely. And with that, we have a guaranteed success, or should have a guaranteed success for this. There you go. And another law has been passed. Durable goods reduces my goods consumption. And actually we have a surplus now. I'm not even producing goods right now. So that's great. So what we have right now, right before the first temperature drop, is a stable heat production, coal production. Almost everyone has a home. We have a positive goods production, but we still lose food and materials. Food still lasts us for quite some time, so I would work on my material problem that we have right now. And last I checked, we have a lot of material here, so let's continue with the frost breaking into this material extraction zone. And there's also an endless material deposit available here in the forests. My scouts have in the meantime explored the first area, and we can now go for these outposts here. So there is a beacon outpost location here. This could lead us to a huge source of food, the plains over there. And yeah, I think it's a nice next logical choice. Finding a huge source of food, we would not need to build another food district for quite some time and save resources this way. Okay, we have frost broken here. Colder season has arrived, and with that, temperatures drop to -30. I should in fact go for my next researching, and that is probably the generator upkeep. And this will cost me 50. There's also a new heating level here now, the heat allocation. So as we can see, we're not providing enough heat at the moment. If I increase the heat level now for everyone by 1, right, we do now have enough heating again, but we have a negative coal surplus or negative coal balance. So we're losing coal now again. And in 53 weeks, we're out of that. This is really interesting. I think this was really lacking before. That is just like in Frostpunk 1 now. You can increase the level of heat and thus also manage your consumption of fuel. As a last resort, we would also have the overdrive just in case. But I think we don't need that just yet. Now, let's just see what we can do here. Unfortunately, we are already working at 100% efficiency. I can still expand the district though. Okay, frost breaking here has been finished, so I would really like to work on an extraction zone now, as we are running out of materials soon. I need to frost break once more, I think. Let's just do it here. There you go. And now we can build that extraction zone over all of these tiles here. Feral children. Oh god, the lack of persistent law regulating children is causing crime and tension. Yeah, commit to resolving this soon. We can actually do this, as we do have the law of cooldown and childhood. This is actually more pressure than before, I think. Research speed is increased with the mandatory school, but heat stamp income per capita is decreased. Or we go with the family apprenticeship. The percentage of active workers is increased, but we're using children for work. Let's actually go for the school, because this also gives me the research speed, and we do not lack workforce at all. Once again though, a majority of my people is hesitant, so we need to probably give them something in return. Equal pay. No, I do not want to give them the agenda. The merchants, they would like to have the heat auctions or the dense housing block. I could also just risk it, honestly, and I think I'm gonna do this. Might be a mistake. We'll just see. Oh, nice. Alright, it actually passed and we did not have to give any promises. Trust rises with that as well. There you go. The yellow bar down here. Just on time, the extraction zone has been finished. And with that we have a total output of 160, 180 materials. And as we can see, this already closes my consumption. It's still not enough though. So I might also expand this one. We could, by the way, expand in here 2 times to get a temperature adjacency bonus with our extraction zone. And I would also like to expand my coal district, by the way. So that we produce a bit more coal out of that. And since the temperatures have increased again, we can also reduce the level of heat and save coal. Speaking about saving coal, we should also implement stockpiles soon, for coal especially. Proteins form in support of durable goods, paid essentials and mandatory schools. We got the first radical faction, the Proteans. Therefore adaptation, merit and reason. There they are. And they're opposing the merchants, right? Right now, they're though endorsing us. Since materials is really important, what I can do now is build a sawmill in my extraction zone. I would like to do this. We can also do the same thing for the coal mine then. And there it is. Also, we have upgraded our generator.
Our researchers have completed
to provide more heat. And on top of that, we can also continue with the exploration. What is that? There's a lot of food here. 25,000 food. This is more than we can store, in fact. So I rather keep it over there. We can always take it. And deeply buried ice convoy. There might be some fatalities here though, if I take this one. So we're gonna wait. Okay, where do we go from here? Possible finding food and coal. Let's do this. And by the way, to have more Frostland teams, we can also expand our zone here. I need more prefabs. There they are. And Stuart, we have received multiple complaints from citizens that their districts have grown colder. Check the heat. Okay. And Proteins want to steer the city closer to their ideals. 3 endorsed factions though right now, that should be fine. There's heat wasted. Okay. And look at that, it's already at level 1 of the heating. But thanks to the adjacency bonuses, we're not consuming anything here right now. Okay, with the sawmill, we have a huge surplus of materials. Probably way too much. So I could reduce the efficiency here now, right? To also reduce the heat. And we're gonna keep it at 100 though, so that I stockpile some materials for the bad times. Another research I always like to do is the first housing level insulation, because this one here increases the temperature level for all housing districts by 1, thus reducing the demand for coal significantly. Let's go ahead and do this. It's also only costing 50 heat stamp, so it's a rather cheap tech. I just love all these little details that we have everywhere, right? Like even the automatons here driving around, crawling around. Also, there's a train, as far as I can see. They've overhauled the visuals of the city quite a bit, and there are more details now than before. This one seems to be lost, but I'm pretty sure it knows where it's going. Nice one. Overall, I like it. I really enjoy the macro graphics of this game and how it all works together. Now, we do have the upgrade to my exploration, to my logistics district. That means I can have now 2 scouts active at the same time. So we're already exploring over here. Now is a good idea to move somewhere else, right? So to move into another direction entirely. We got this one here, the plains, a vast expanse of relatively low elevation. Let's launch the team and just find hopefully something of value. And that's really cool, right? We can actually zoom into this. I mean, not really, because we haven't discovered it yet, to find the clouds. Like over here, right, where we have this is where we explored, right? And there are then hidden things down there. I think here would be a potential outpost, yep, that we could implement, but I'm gonna do this later at some other time. There's once again another temperature drop coming, and yeah, heating is already not enough anymore. So I'm gonna push my heat level up once. This already will lead to, and we should basically work on something else here. Let's just check this out. So heat is this, production is this, it's maximized. I also cannot expand the district any longer. So the only thing that we can really do is build us something else here. And that's a shaft coal mine. This outputs another 132 coal. It, however, also skyrockets my material consumption. We have 150 materials available right now. Another 60 material demand we can definitely take. Let's build this one here right away. Cold temperature, and this already is feelable in my coal consumption, as the negative 30 degrees are now coming in. Also, 1,200 people joined. That's not a great timing. New count has revealed significant growth. So whatever has caused this, we have adjusted our calculations. So the game, this is also something I like, doesn't really say, okay, 1,200 people came from outside, right? It rather says, okay, the numbers are just higher than we thought. And in this case, it might be because of settlers moving in from outside. It might also be because of births. This is very realistic, I think, because who actually knows how many births there are in a city like this in a chaos world that we have. Now, in that case, forager demand has failed. Why? Oh, that was the, I see, the factory, but I didn't build it yet. Yeah, that's really my mistake. I will also need another housing district, because now we have more than ever. Research has been finished with the housing insulation. We could go for the housing block, because this just costs me 1 additional building, and it provides then a lot of housing, in fact. A dense housing block, that would be on par with the merchants. They would like this. And the, what really? And the Proteans, both of them would enjoy, would like this. And in order to appease the radicals, I'm actually going to research this. Yep, I'm not a fan of it, but it's better than losing reputation with the radicals. And the more ideas, the more laws you have for them, the better. Okay, there's the 30 degrees now. And with that, as we can see, we have now 207 coal. We need to raise the heating once again. And with that, we have now actually a negative. Okay. I'm surprised at that, but it's a very small one. It's something that we can still work with. Alrighty, also funerals. The persistent lack of funerals. We do have laws of cooldown, so we can actually do this now. What to do with the dead? Interesting question. And we have 2 options: the harvesting funerals or the ceremonial funerals. And of course, there's only one real choice here, right? it's the harvesting funerals. Of course, it makes sense to use the organs of the deceased to support the city healthcare. I mean, holy cow, how can you do this one, right? And waste so much good meat. And let's go ahead. Also, we increase our research speed. We reduce diseases. And yeah, quite a lot of people like it too. Not enough though. Not enough. Equal pay. Demand funds from the Proteans. Nah, that's not good. The merchants have something that I like, honestly. That's the efficiency bonus. So we need to research this first and then we can enact it. And this one, to encourage competition, the city will allocate special bonuses to the people who work the most efficiently. That's okay, right? You could also say heat auctions, but nah, let's go with the efficiency bonus. This one. And with that, we definitely will get the majority for this vote. Next research finished. We immediately go now for the promise that we had. And this is also once again a very tiny research. So 50 heat stamps, 9 weeks. That's easily doable. And another thing we can now do is the housing. And that's the dense housing block. And this gives shelter to the remaining population. Let's push this one in here. And what I noticed right away as well is for my overall trust, it goes down. And there's a huge penalty that we have right now by not building the beacon outpost. What is that? That is one of the new features of the patch. It's one of those missions that we have. Establish and maintain the beacon outpost to guide incoming waves of people. Now, I have no idea where this is. There it is. Here we construct it. It's right next to us, in fact. Construct it. What do we need for that? 200 heat stamps and the skyway. First, we need to connect it with the city itself. And that is something I cannot do. Wait a second. Why do we need to go all the way here? Okay, we need to go here. This will cost me quite a bit. To connect it with the city, right? Must be connected. And then we need another 200 heat stamps to build it. So that's still gonna take some time. Alright, my scouts have finished though, this area here. So there's coal, very good. Crashed wagon. There's only a diary of a woman. I just wanted a better life for the baby. From the coordinates and diary, our scouts can discern the rough directions you travel to. And there's another core factory. And this is an oil husk, so this is just another source of fuel that we can find. Alright, next in line. These are a bit more difficult now. Gonna go here for this new zone. Alright, that's done. Shelter has been provided. Materials are going up. Coal, not so much, but it's okay. And we still have 58 weeks of food left, so this is also something I'm gonna need soon. I could raise funds from the merchants for 186 heat stamps. This is advised at this point, so we're gonna lose here a bit, but that's okay. I need that because we need to build a couple of things now. The first one is that we need to have that food district going. I need to have the beacon outpost. That's gonna cost me. And in that case, yeah, it's a bit of a problem, right? The food usually takes a lot of heat. So, now wait a second. We need to first dig this area here. And then I hope that we can make a connection. This is not going to be possible. Could be possible. We'll see. Okay, we can build the food district like this. But I just remembered, you know what? That we have 30,000 stockpile over. So I can use one of my scouts to take the food. Right, this just takes a bit of time. And we get 25,000 food in as well. I would really like to do this. Also, now we can finally construct the beacon outpost. Let's do this as well. And you have erected a beacon which can be seen across the Frostland. Desperate refugees now flock to it in waves. Alright, so that is one of the ones here. So receive all groups of incoming people, 4 there will be. Alright. And look at my trust meter. Holy cow. Being flooded again by losing that massive penalty we had on it. However, now we have waves of refugees coming in. And that means in 35 weeks there's more people that join us. And Stuart, the Proteans have started gathering periodic rallies promoting your rule. They praise you for steering the city on a path to resilient prosperity. What should they give me? Okay, more healthcare, more heat stamps, or more workforce? Let's go with the heat stamps. Yeah, 2 additional heat stamps per week. That is the bonus they're giving us.
Neighbors kindly
Very good.
ask rally attendees.
By the way, with the efficiency law that we have promised the merchants and enacted, we have now that tiny bit of additional coal production, so that we have enough coal even during this time. However, there's another temperature drop already coming, so that's going to be negative 40 degrees. Probably should prepare for this, right? We have no research right now available though. Food is fine again, came in, so 100 weeks of food. Yeah, let's just hope that we find even more food, so I still don't need to build that food district. We have a mining complex for coal, and there's more food. I'm a lucky one, and another 25,000 food that we can easily get in within seconds. Right, so this is another nice buffer that we have. Alright, so I can work a bit on the goods now, and for this we have another factory, the salvaging factory. This produces goods and prefabs per week. I like this. Let's go ahead and build it. And once this is finished, there it is. On this wooden plateau, it sits right here. And this one leads to a lot of goods production now. So we have a huge surplus there. And also we produce 27 prefabs per week. That is really powerful. Alright, Beacon of Hope. Stuart, the first group of people from the fallen city has arrived. 3 adolescents on the verge of exhaustion. What should we do with them? The people of our city rush to the aid. Donations of funds have poured in and medics have lined up. We should prepare infrastructure. Hospitals will cost 50 fewer heat stamps to construct. So heat stamps will be donated to hospital construction or staffing it. Hospitals will require 50% less workforce. I don't think workforce is going to be a problem when there's so many refugees coming in. So I'm probably going with the heat stamps. Speaking about hospitals, I haven't researched them yet, I think. Hospitals. Let's go ahead and do this right away. And there's 2 of them, the teaching hospital or the normal hospital. Normal hospital costs more. The teaching hospital has a research speed increase, but we have a really good research speed already since we're using children as well. So in that case, I'm just gonna go with the normal research. Alright, so waves of refugees, right? And we still have also our main mission here, develop a metropolis. So 50,000 people need to live here. That's quite a bit. And also finish the Beacon of Hope. All 3 missions actually. Gonna do this. Okay, we cannot build anything. We are out of money once again. The only thing I can do is we have 20 Frostland teams again. Coal. Nice. We can continue with expeditions. This one to the valley. And there's another one with potential food. And then we actually need to raise my scout teams, my quality of them. Legionaries, the next radical faction. Okay, they are for progress, equality, and tradition. This doesn't sound right. Progress and tradition? Okay, they're coming from the laborers, and they dislike harvesting funerals, mandatory school, and efficiency bonuses. They dislike everything that we did so far. Alright, so we want to keep them small, right? That's the main thing about them. We want to condemn them. So their fervor increases, right? But they're getting weaker because of this. So let's do this right away. 60 leave. And that leaves them with only 440. As long as we keep them small, they're not going to be problems, right? We do have the other ones here, like the merchants. There are 3,000, right? That's a powerful faction right there. Now that I think about it, I could have used the condemning as a promise for another faction. Yeah, okay, too late for that. Regarding laws, there's not that much anymore. Food additives is one of them that I still have. And forage additives, only natural foraged ingredients may be added to the food, to the overall food. So citizens will provide food during calm weather as well. And forages and proteins like this. We do have kind of like a majority on that. Yeah, this should really pass. probably shouldn't be so sure about it. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Hear ye. The delegates have spoken. The law takes
It's a bit.
effect.
Yeah, it's 18 food. And 1,300 more people join. This means I need to have another dense housing district. These increase diseases, right? So the hospital is very much needed. The Proteans demand a pleasure club. To generate income, of course, yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I know that it's a good idea to have it. And the legionaries begin protesting. All right. Past family apprenticeship, convince them to stop. And that's these guys here, right? So it's really not a lot. So we'll just see what comes out of that. There's the hospital. Let's go ahead and build it right away.
Institute has concluded
Somewhere here in the city center.
latest task and is ready.
Colder season, negative 40 degrees now. And with that, once again, we have to raise our heat. And this now leads once again to a negative coal balance. So once again, what we can do, build another coal mine. One more I can build. This provides 150 coal. That is not going to be enough for what we have in store. Research-wise, I could work a bit more on heating now. Workplace insulation is something, right? So in work districts have the temperature increase, thus consume less coal. That would be something to work on. We lack the money, however. Alright, what are you doing here? Really, there is something I really don't understand about these protests up to this point, and unfortunately they haven't really fixed this with a patch. That is that a very small faction with only 500 people in a city of 11,000, right, can disable whole districts. And if just one faction goes on protest, they can really end you. And it's just one tiny, really insignificant faction. What should we do? I need to give them something. Promoting them makes them more powerful. I don't want that. I don't want that. I can make a promise for them. Let's have a look. Pleasure commons. Heated commons. Or supported quarantine. This is something we don't have yet. Yep, there's no rule on this. Or let's go with the heated commons. I like this too. That is actually something we can easily do. And I think the promise only is to research it, right? There it is. Oh no, that's the pleasure club. There it is. So surplus heat should benefit the entire population of a district. Yeah, the heat auction is actually also really nice, right? So we get additional heat stamps by heated houses. But let's go with the fewer unhoused citizens die from the cold. Let's go with that. Unfortunately, the support for this is not very high. So I do need to get at least someone else in. Supported quarantine. This is okay because housing is cheap. And also the other radical faction there likes it. So this should pass. If not, then we might have a problem. I think it doesn't pass. Yeah, it doesn't pass by a long shot. Holy cow. Despite us having this promise here. Right, we have a problem. I did not expect this to actually not pass now. And we have that promise in addition. Also the pleasure commons, we need to do them too. I like the money. What's successful right now is exploration. So we have this area here now, that's more food. This is actually an outpost that provides a permanent 70 food to the city. We have a negative 70 food right now. So once again, by enacting this, we do not need to buy or build a food district just yet. That's one thing. And right over here, we have another one. Galician refinery, that's an oil well we can build. Here we can mount a rescue operation to save men and supplies. And here we have an unknown settlement. And we can take some people over there to start this new settlement. Interesting. There it is. So we could build really then there. I'm gonna go ahead and send a rescue party and 50 prefabs to just see what we have in this refinery, because we can't afford that. Alright. I hope we get this one stable again. This district is now completely disabled. And yeah, that's Frostpunk with the latest major update, Frostpunk 2. And I hope you enjoyed this one. And we continue onwards then in the next episode. Stay tuned.